So I'm gonna get started. So I just need to just start then. I don't need to open anything else. Right. Sorry, is my Virgo showing?
Oh, you fine? You are completely fine. Because if I would have been with somebody, I would have been asking the same questions. You were completely fine.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the My Virgo Friend podcast. Your host, CheChe here. And yes, it's my first visual to go with the podcast. So I'm very, very excited. I have my first guest host today, Sydney Rogers of the Annoyed But Not Offended podcast. So I'm honored and so grateful to have her here. Sydney, how are you?
I'm doing great. I am happy to see you, CheChe, and excited to be a guest on the My Virgo Friend podcast. You are a guest. You were one of my first guests on my show. Yay! And it's super duper ironic that you have me back at this time period because I'm sure you know, but like Mercury retrograde is coming back around, and that's what you were on my show discussing. So I'm like, OMG, full 360.
Yeah, we can see. I didn't even realize that. Because I was thinking like, dog, like, what did we talk about when I was on your show? Because I was trying to recall it. And yeah, oh my God. That is
full circle.
It is full circle because I told you I didn't really have like too much plan. Like I have like icebreakers I want to play with you and stuff. But like in regards to like a script, I don't have that ready to go. I was like, let's just see where the conversation takes us. So the fact that you made that connection is exactly what I was talking about.
I love it.
Yes. Okay. So Sydney, at the beginning of my podcast episodes, I always start with like some sound bowl tunes, and I do some deep breathing. We take like 4 deep breaths. So I'm just gonna jump into that real quick. So you guys, if you've listened to the episodes before, you know we do our sound bowl meditation real quick with our deep breathing. So I want you to breathe in through the nose, exhaling fully through the mouth. Breathe in. Last one. And take a sip. Sydney, I forgot to tell you to have something ready to go to drink at the beginning. There we go. A true Virgo. Stay hydrated.
I love it. That was needed on this Saturday morning. I needed those deep breaths. Ooh.
Let's go. Come on. Thank you. Because I host meditation meetups monthly to go with the full moons and the new moons. And of course, it's a meditation meetup. So we do a little bit of yoga, we do meditation. So just, trying to coach people on breathing again, because it's such an anxious and depressive time for most people, so just going back to that breath, man, it just really helps to recalibrate, I feel.
I love that. And two, I feel like you said, you held so much anxiety inside. When you finally take those deep breaths, you're like, oh my God, I'm releasing all of this tension. Like you drop your shoulders, your jaw unclenches, you just feel better. So let me find out I need to do that in the morning.
Yeah, just the simplest things, because we just be on autopilot, we'll be on go all the time, so we just got to remember to come back to us, come back to center, Yes. But okay, so Sydney, I'm digging for my crystals, if you can hear today. I like to hold them when I'm talking. I just feel connected. So I want to play some icebreakers with you, or an icebreaker with you, I guess I should say. So again, just going back to who you are, plug yourself, tell us what you want us to know.
Okay, so again, you guys, I am Sydney. I am the host of the Annoyed Not Offended podcast. I like to say my podcast is a show that discusses like very annoying topics in the most inoffensive way. I've had guests that have discussed like dating, relationships, colorism, learning more about yourself. I most recently did an episode that I loved with Naira Williams, who is a multidisciplinary artist. And we talked about gaining support as a creative, because you know how hard that is when you're getting anything started with any creative endeavor. You're like, okay, I'm looking for my family and friends to support this, to plug this. And they don't always understand, but in that instance, you cannot always take it personal whatever you put out there into the world, you as a person have to stand behind it 110%.
Absolutely.
And we also discussed this notion of people only supporting what's popular and people just being like, oh, people are only supporting this because other people are doing it, when in reality, a lot of those times people have huge teams. They're working with people. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So again, plug yourself. But yes, you guys, that's what my show is about. Again, CheChe came on to discuss Mercury retrograding, and that was back in July.
Yeah. Oh, that was a big one too. Cancer season.
Yes.
Season.
Oh, it was so much going on. I was like, I don't even know what exactly I wanted to discuss, like you said, because it was so much going on. It was Cancer season. Mars was moving into Aries.
Oh, that was
right before elections.
Yeah. It was a lot of choppy energy, a lot of shifty move energy with that. Because I'm a Cancer. My moon sign is in Cancer. Do you know your natal placements, like your big three?
Yes. So I am a Virgo rising. I am a Virgo sun.
Yeah.
And I am a Cancer moon. And I also happen to have a Cancer stellium because I literally have Moon, Venus, and Mars all in Cancer.
Oh my God.
Yes, it's a lot of moon, moody, changing. I want to be at home. I want to eat. I very much have a lot of Cancer placements, and it's so crazy because I've always thought about myself like being real earthy and more airy. But once I got into looking at my chart, I'm like,
oh, she's a watery one. She's a wet one.
Yes, like literally, ironically, I think my two most dominant elements are air and water.
Air, water. Okay. I'm water. Earth and water. Yeah.
But didn't you say, I remember most times when people tell me their placements, aren't you a Pisces rising?
Yes. Yes, because we're both Virgo sun, Cancer moon.
Yep.
Same way, like when people tell me their big three, it's like a recipe. I don't know. It's like when they tell me the big three, I can point out the three and I'm like, okay, I see it. Boom. And then I remember it. Like I can remember their big three before their last name. It's funny.
You know what? I am too. I'm the same way. Because I think it's that Virgo sun in me too, wanting to put together patterns and connections with people. So when they tell me, I'm like, oh, so okay, so you being a Scorpio, that's where that little you want to be stubborn and mysterious kind of thing comes in.
Because you're a Scorpio rising. Okay.
Oh my gosh, one of my best friends, I love her to death. She's a Gemini sun, and she's not into astrology at all. She's one of those people who wants to know it, but she's also like, this seems like a lot and it's overwhelming. But recently she got her birth time and she shared her big three with me. And now I know why I love her so much. She's a Scorpio rising, a Gemini sun, and a Virgo moon. And I'm like, that's why I love you.
Straight Mercury and to the point with the Scorpio, because I love Scorpios. That's one of my favorites. Scorpios and Sagittarius. I learn a lot from my Saggies, and my Scorpios just get me.
And I feel the same way. My only thing with Scorpios is I think we just both so like my way or the highway, because my mom is a Scorpio, and that's our biggest thing. No, either one of us, we have to get that last word in. She'll say something, I say something. She say something, I say something.
Oh, and then you got that Cancer too, that big Cancer energy. So your claws is out too.
Yes, unfortunately, but it is. But again, I'm trying to think out of all now, you know what's one thing? I love them and I attract them so much. And I learned recently, I'm trying to learn more about the houses.
Me too.
I attract Aries so much.
I attract Sagittarius. So it's a fire element too. And I was going to ask you, do you know your North Node?
I believe my North Node. My North Node, I believe it's in Aries.
Mine is too. The reason why I was asking, because you know how they say you choose your parents, and like you learn from your parents or whatever. My North Node is in Aries. My mama's in Aries. And so I just thought that was weird. Like, it's interesting that your North Node, y'all, if you're like, what the fuck is a North Node? North Node is basically like, let's say you've been reincarnated into this lifetime. Your North Node is what zodiac signs should you strive to be more like? And your South Node is like your past patterns that you need to get rid of.
Oh, okay. Then I'm sorry. I have them switched up. My North Node is Libra because mine is always saying, "Hey, you need to learn to partner with people, to be more compromising, to be a little bit softer. In your past life, you were a leader. You did not let people tell you what to do and everything else." And I'm like, okay.
That is weird, Sydney, because my North Node is in Aries, so my South Node is in Libra. So I'm used to being like, no, after you, where do you want to eat? It doesn't matter, wherever you want to eat. Like, just being like, oh, so I need to be more like, no, girl, you could be first too. Like, you matter too, damn it. Like, I need to be more fire, more and go. So I'm like, maybe like with us choosing our parents, maybe that's why my mom is an Aries and I'm a North Node Aries, because she needs to teach me how to be more like that. But I attract Sagittariuses. I get a lot of those. Yeah.
Interesting. I attract Aries just so much. And I know I was looking, like I said before, at the houses. And since I'm a Virgo rising and a Virgo sun, they're both conjunct. So I have that conjunction. So
I'm still learning about what conjunctions mean.
It's kind of like, since they're one and the same, so it's kind of like you have a stronger emphasis between of the planets, like it's going to show more. So my sun is in the first house, which ironically enough, they're like, oh, when your sun is in the first house, that means that whatever characteristics of that sign, they're just going to be really strong. And you also are going to have a little bit of Aries energy, since Aries rules the first house. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I meet all of these Aries, because most of my friends, even guys that I've had like romantic interest in, they have all been Aries, like literally. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. When is your birthday? They like either late March or early April. And I'm like, shit.
So what would you say would be like the shadow side of Aries versus what you love about Aries, what attracts you to them? Shout out to the Aries. Y'all take a sip for the fire signs. Cheers to the fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius.
The one thing I can really say I love about Aries is their determination. Like they are determined, whether it's good or bad. They go and they go get it. The only thing that I don't like about them and their shadow side, I tell my friends this all the time who are Aries, they get riled up so quickly, but then it just goes away. It's like poof. And I'm like, did you even address the issue, or you just don't feel like talking about it anymore? Because my friends are quick to be like, oh my God, this person pissed me off, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, me being a Virgo, like, okay, let's think this through. Or you go talk to the person, what's next steps? And by the time we even get to it, they're like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like,
they just had to let off real quick.
And I'm like, I guess you weren't that mad, because Virgos, when we get mad, it's building up. It's like it's like an earthquake. It's gonna be an earthquake eventually.
It literally is, because I'm getting my talking points together. Okay, so I'm going through every situation. Okay, how was I wrong? How could I learn from the situation? Nah, cause see, I did what made sense. Now I did what was considerate, and they still chose to mess with me. So you know what? A, B, and C, and I'm gonna let off, because we could cut with our words, and we both Cancer moons. And we're gonna let you forget it. Okay.
I'm working on it. I am working on it. I have another friend, shout out to Ashlyn. She loves astrology. Like, we're both in astrology.
Her sign?
Yeah, she's an Aries. However, she's a Virgo rising and a Capricorn moon. Like, her chart is really earthy. She has a lot of earth. And I think it's like a mix of earth, air, and fire. She doesn't have any water, so she's not soft at all.
So that's where you come into play. Oh, y'all moon signs are compatible with her Capricorn, and you're the Cancer moon. Shout out to the earth moons and the water moons.
Yes. And so she's always so funny, because I'll be talking about stuff like, I'm gonna work on moving past stuff, letting stuff go. And she like, okay, you're a Cancer moon. Good luck with that. And I'm like, why are you bringing this up? Why are you reminding me that I be wanting to take stuff to the grave?
Now I gotta cry again, damn it.
Like, why? Why are you reminding me that I am just gonna be like this all the time?
Do you feel you resonate more with your Cancer or Virgo?
Ooh. I feel like now that I know I'm a Cancer moon, I resonate with it more. But when I was younger, I was definitely such a little Virgo. Oh my gosh.
In what way? Please do tell. What are the Virgo children like?
Oh, Virgo children, we are so talk.
Oh my God.
Talk. And then, okay, so I'm an only child on both sides. I'm the only child for my mom and my dad. And then I'm the only grandchild for my grandmother on my dad's side. So I'm used to being around adults, as like I have plenty of cousins and aunts and uncles, but growing up as a kid, when I would be around only older family members, it would just be me. So they would always be like, okay, Sydney, you can talk and we're going to answer your questions, but you're going to have to find a way to entertain yourself. Here's some books, here's some paints, here's something, entertain yourself.
Yes.
So outside of me knowing how to talk as a little kid, I was also one of the little kids who could go off to a corner and just spend the whole day.
Yeah.
Being by myself doing stuff. So I have no problem being alone. Like, I'm pretty sure I can go like a couple weeks not seeing anybody and then reemerge like, world, hey guys, I'm refreshed.
Yes, I say all the time, I could literally go a whole day, probably a couple days, and not say anything. I literally go.
I love that though. Ooh, I love that.
I could go to a monastery for a weekend. For fun.
I love that though. But that's the duality of being a Virgo, that mercurial side of us. Like, we can talk your ear off, but then we can just shut the hell up.
And that's it. And be fine with that. And I think that's why I love Scorpio so much, because they're very much like clear and direct in their feelings. And you know what I'm saying? So like me, I love friends that you can just sit there and not say anything. You know?
Yes.
Please don't let me have to entertain you. You know, stop asking me stupid ass questions. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't ask me something you can Google. Don't ask me something you don't really care about. Can we just sit here and just be?
Now, ironically enough, I'm trying, like, I have friends that are Capricorns. I've noticed that I can do that with Capricorns a lot. Like, my friends that are Capricorns, me and them can just get together and do absolutely nothing. Yeah. Like, oh, you want to come over? Yeah. And then we just eat. Quietly watch TV. We'll talk and do different stuff, but I've noticed with all of my friendships with Capricorns, we can go out and kick it and have a great time, drink, do whatever, but then we can also be together and not say anything.
Homebodies, yes. Speak to my homebody energy.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Like, I'm more of a brunch girl over clubbing, because I want to be back to the house before it get nighttime when it's cold.
Very true. I'm a person. I can go out, but I'm from St. Louis, Missouri too. And I was born and raised here. So in essence, I kind of feel like, oh my gosh, I have done everything. Yeah. So I'm not big on going out here. Whereas if I travel or go somewhere, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is new. It's different. I want to see it. But even then, hell, like you said, I'm tired. Exactly. I need some rest.
Yes. Like, can we take a nap, please? Shout out to the Midwest listeners.
Yes. It's cold as hell here.
Yeah. It's so gloomy here in Orlando. Like, it's usually been like sunny and shining or whatever. Like, today is real gloomy and it's like drizzling outside. So perfect stay at home weather. My Cancer moon is pleased. So, okay. So which zodiac sign would you say you understand the least?
The zodiac sign that I understand.
And we preface this with no shade. We just want to understand.
OMG.
Like for me, I would say Aquarius and Gemini. Like, maybe those two.
Okay. Now I can see Aquarius too. I've had friendships with people that are Aquariuses. And for them, I get them, but in essence, I don't get them sometimes, because
I don't see a pattern with them really. Like, they're all different.
They're all different in a way, but one thing, like my dad, he's an Aquarius.
Shout out to the Aquarius daddies.
But one thing that I can say about Aquarius is, and I have like all of the Aquarius that I've met, men and women, they know every damn body and everybody knows them. Yes, they are popular. Like as a kid growing up, when I be out with my dad, he always ran into somebody that he knew. Somebody knew him. We both had the same name. So even if people were like, oh my gosh, you're Sydney. Oh my gosh, you're his daughter. You look just like him. But like, no matter, even if I wasn't with him, like people knew him everywhere. Another thing with the men too is, in essence, I've had a lot of guy friends that were Aquariuses, and the only bad thing I can say about them is they have a very, very big superiority complex.
I can see that. I can see that.
I don't know if it's the air energy or what, but they really
they just
do.
know. They
feel like
shit.
You can. And the guys that I was friends with that were Aquariuses were so smart, like super duper intelligent, just by I would just say just by like the standard of going to college and school and high school. They always excelled. They always did great things. But when it came to the emotional aspect, they also thought they had it there. And it's like, no, you don't. Like they'd be telling me stuff that might have happened with their girlfriend or somebody. And I'm like, you know, you're wrong, right? And they're like, well, nah, because blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God. Shout out to Adrian. Shout out to the fam, WCU, Western Carolina. Adrian, he was and he's an Aquarius. And we got along so well. He was like one of my best friends in college. But like what I've noticed about Aquarian men, they also have like asshole humor. Like they say stuff that's so mean, like you're such a dick, but it's true, so it's funny. So it's like, well, they're not wrong. So
that's very true.
Like, did you have to say it like that though? Dang.
That would be me. I'm like, why are you so? It's kind of like they have this brassiness about them.
Yes, like you know when two steak knives are like that searing sound. It's like,
and they love it though. They love when people don't like them. They love that. They thrive in chaos. In
like that taunt, like you know, like the football, fantasy football with the guys, like that taunting, talking shit energy. Like they're great shit talkers. Shout out to the shit talkers.
Yes, and they love being unconventional in essence.
Yeah, and out of the box.
You gotta let them have that because you're just like, you know what?
At least you shoot to you.
Go ahead.
Do it with conviction or not at all.
I'm trying to think. What's another thing? Another sign. Oh my gosh. Now, one sign that I understand them, but I don't understand them is Pisces. Just because they are our sister sign, I have such a love-hate relationship with Pisces.
I don't know too many of them.
I know a good amount of them, and my only thing with them, in essence, is the only thing that Pisces do sometimes that I don't understand is they love to throw these like self-pity parties. Yeah. And as a Virgo, I hate that because I am so solution-based. Like, I get it's one thing to feel your feelings and be sad, but they want to be sad and they want you to be sad with them and they want it to just be like melodramatic. And I'm like,
you know what song came to mind? The Ja Rule and Lil Mo song, I Cry. That's the song that came to my head just now. Cry with me, damn it.
That's how they are. They're just so like, come on, let's like, I don't get why my life is like this. And I'm just over it right now. And it's like, okay, so what you gonna do about it? How we gonna change this?
How are we gonna fix it?
And they never know how. But ironically, you know, being a Virgo and them being my sister sign, I always meet Pisces. And again, it's a love-hate relationship. One of my favorite cousins, she's a Pisces sun. And literally, we will get along great and be together. And then like, next thing you know, we're arguing about the dumbest shit. Like we will be having a blast, go somewhere, we arguing.
I guess that's like the whole sister sign. Why they say sister sign, because you kind of bicker like sisters, but you love and understand each other, even though you're not the same. I guess that's what that means. Because one of my favorite cousins, Lawrence, shout out to Lawrence, he's a Pisces. And I also want to get your opinion on Pisces men, if you have one. But yeah, he's my favorite, and I love him. And it's like he's one of those people I could just sit in a room with and just not say anything. we don't have to talk to entertain each other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, shout out to the Pisces men. But yeah,
And see, that's how I am with them, because just thinking about my cousin. Again, I love her so much, but like the last time we were hanging out, I had went to go visit her. She lives in Atlanta, and we were all hanging out, like having a good time. But then the next day, we were getting ready to like go out and go somewhere. We were like going to the lake with a couple of her friends, and we stopped at Starbucks. We literally got in the car, we were fine, and literally started arguing about Starbucks because she ordered whatever drink, and she was like, oh my God, it's clumping at the bottom, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, duh, it's because you got soy milk, just mix it up. She's like, no, I'm taking it back through the thing. I'm like, you're that fucking dramatic. You're going to waste their time and take it through the thing. And she like, yes, I do that all the time. And I'm like, you do way too fucking much. And then we just started arguing.
That is a lot. Like, I'm not want to take nothing back because I'm always going to think the person is going to be annoyed and do something to my food or my drink. So you know what? I'm either going to throw it away or deal with it. So
but literally,
people do that.
We started arguing for like 2 minutes after that. And then we just got quiet. And probably 30 minutes later, we were fine.
How close is she to the Aries sign? Because Pisces cuss with.
She's not super Pisces. Close. She's like a true Pisces. She's like March 11th. Like she's smack dead. But you said Pisces men?
I did. Sips tea.
Oh, now see, oh my gosh. Again, love-hate relationship. The Pisces men that I have met, we have great chemistry. We can get along great, but again, they have certain characteristics that I just don't get. Like they have this very delusional aspect to them of like, okay, this is my reality because I've created it. And I'm like, that's not realistic. And again, wanting pity about certain situations. Like I was really close with a guy in high school who was a Pisces, like best friends, loved him to death. But then later on, it came out about all these lies that he was telling not only people around us, but me too. And just all of these cycles. And then he would just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't deserve your friendship. Like just boo-hoo-hooing. And me, I'm like, at least if you go lie, I respect it more if you were like, you know what? I lied. I'm sorry.
You know?
But now that you call it, you upset. Like, I just don't get that aspect. But again, I definitely do attract like Pisces placements because I met a guy probably like a year or so ago. And I was like, I am really attracted to this man for some reason. And it was a lot of like push and pull, tug and whatever little
that
situation.
Tango energy.
Yeah, between us. So ironically enough, one day I had always been curious, but I had never asked him. Like I knew he was a Scorpio, but I never asked him like, oh, what's your birth time so I can look at your big three. But then one day we were just talking when we were together. And he's like, we were talking about birthdays. And he was like, oh, yeah, because, I was born wherever. And I was like, oh, okay, you were? What time were you born? And he was like, oh, I was born at this time. And I was like, oh, well, no. How did I forgot how it came up, but he told me his birth time or something. We were talking about something. I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, yeah, because, I was born so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, you were? And I was like, oh, I should pull up your natal chart. And he's like, well, pull it up and tell me what it was. And ironically enough, he's like literally like he was a Pisces rising, a Scorpio sun, and an Aries moon. I'm like,
oh my God. So you still attracted that Aries energy. That is hilarious. That's hilarious.
I was very much like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw my phone away because this is too much.
Well, since you're on the subject. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that was it.
Oh, well, okay. So on that subject then, shout out to the Scorpio men. Shout out to all the water men, because all the water men, they get bad raps, but we love y'all. Okay, we love y'all. We do.
We
just want to understand y'all.
They have to understand themselves first. That's their biggest thing.
Okay.
Understand yourselves first. Now I can say, even though I attract them and I get along with them, Capricorn and Taurus men and Virgo men, I can only be friends with them because we act too much alike.
My high school sweetheart was a Capricorn. Yeah, earth signs. I tend to attract earthy men too. Shout out to the earth men.
We just act so alike sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like someone needs to start the fire. Someone, because you need to come get me. So
we just act so much alike.
It's like, who's gonna be the one to move first?
Who's gonna be the one to move first? Who go say something somebody didn't like? Because I remember this one guy. He was like a Capricorn, but I forgot what he had told me one time. He was like, I didn't like when you did that and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
come on, criticism.
Hey, whatever.
You know, figure it out. Okay, so I think we hit up all the elements. We hit up air, earth, fire. Let's see. So so Mercury retrograde, you brought that up. So since last time we spoke, have you had more experiences with understanding Mercury retrograde? What's your thoughts on it? Did you have any stories you want to share about what happened in previous Mercury retrogrades?
So I'm trying to think back to that time period. In my own experience with Mercury retrograde being ruled by Mercury, since that's like my rising, I feel like I have as many difficulties as the average person does with it. You know, everything getting rescheduled. Yeah. Having to replace technology. Having to go back and relook at plans and things that are from the past, just like even with work and doing things. So in that aspect is definitely happened. And even recently, again, trying to get more into my birth chart and looking at different stuff. Yeah. I finally realized I was actually born during Mercury retrograde. So that's in my chart.
I looked at mine, but I can't remember if I was or if I wasn't. But I did wonder, like, I wonder if I was, but I can't recall. But shit, girl.
Yeah, so I'm like, I have to look more into it, but it was like, I think on most like birth chart calculators, it has like a little R next to it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. Does that mean I was born on Mercury retrograde?
Oh, shoot. I never noticed that. I'll be on the lookout for that next time then.
And I'm trying to think, with this year being January, Mercury retrograding, Mercury right now, what is Mercury in right now?
I felt like everything was in Aquarius just recently.
Okay, so it's going to be retrograding in Aquarius?
It may be. Like, I feel like Aquarius like had a bunch of planets like just recently, like 7 planets.
That
like,
is true.
Ago, you know? So I feel like it's going to be somewhere in there. Because Mercury doesn't move as fast as like the moon, right? So because like Mercury is like 4 weeks, I guess.
I think so. But I know for sure they were like, oh, Mercury retrograde, it starts January 29th, and then it should end like February 18th, I think, February 19th. But then, you know, it's the post-shadow phase and everything else. So I'm like, oh, am I ready?
Shoot, hold on, where'd it go? Okay, I was trying to like Google it real quick, but like the sign didn't pull up what I wanted. But so like, have you ever experienced? Okay, so like, give me more examples of you experiencing Mercury retrograde. Like, have you experienced like any travel changes in regards to Mercury retrograde?
Definitely, because I'm unsure of it, if it's not the same every year, but it feels like it's around the same time period, because definitely this time last year, I had travel plans to go somewhere like in February, and the person I was going to go visit and hanging out with literally hit me up like maybe 2 days at the Mercury retrograde, like, I actually have to travel for work. Can we reschedule? And I was like, shit, I should have known. Why did I even schedule to come see you during this time period?
Exactly. And that's what I be telling people, like, why it's important to understand Mercury retrograde and when it's coming, because then you know how to plan your life. Like, I'm not going to take a trip unless I absolutely have to in regards to Mercury retrograde. And just like literally yesterday, the street that I commute to go to work, it's never never traffic jammed or whatever, but like in the morning, for some reason, it was just an influx of cars. And it seemed like the cars wasn't taking the light. It's like, go! Like, why are you waiting for the light to turn red? You know? So I was like, you know what? Mercury retrograde. And so then it helps to calm me down, because then I'm not as pissed off as long. I'm like, oh.
But you know what, too? I have traveled during Mercury retrograde, and it was like, I think it was like in 2019 around October, I went on a cruise, but we had really like crossed our T's and dotted our I's as far as checking things. And we didn't have any major issues, luckily, but it was still like a moment of pre-planning, getting a lot of stuff done. But yeah, Mercury retrograde will whoop your ass. I can definitely say that you really do have to spend that time going back over plans. My job, I work in public relations. So that in itself, communications industry, it always seems like when Mercury is in retrograde, we are on fire as far as having to get projects done, having to even go back and look over campaigns that we've done in the past and produce recaps. So just a lot of revisiting the past, and I'm like, oh my God, I want this to be over.
Yeah, going back and forth and stuff. And so yeah, like just like Sydney said, y'all, it's just really a time to make sure you go back to recheck, double check, reflect. Like I think of Mercury retrograde, it's like re-energy, recharge, re-energize, re-strategize, just going back, you know. And with Mercury retrograde, y'all, it's not necessarily that Mercury is moving backwards, it's just that it slows down and the energy just has like a retrograde type of effect, if you will.
Yes.
So going back to, because we know Mercury retrograde happened in Cancer season and we're both Cancer moons, could you recall that Mercury retrograde experience, or / did you have any home, mother, family issues that happened in Cancer season?
I don't think so, for the most part. Like, again, my mom's a Scorpio. We get along fairly well. It's just a matter of both of us, me learning when to put my claws up, her learning to do the same. But for the most part, we really don't have any communications issues or communications breakdowns, because just being the only child growing up, my mom has always been very vocal with me and talking with me about different things. So there's never been a time where she's just been like closed off or anything like that. Trying to think about it at home. I don't remember having too many issues, just a lot of, again, trying to slow down. I was launching my podcast at that point in time. So trying to slow down, trying to get in the groove of planning. Because, you know, this is all about scheduling. Have to fit in time, have to see when my guests are available. And then we both run our podcast on our own. So not having a co-host, I'm making the graphics, I'm planning on social media, I'm editing, I'm writing the scripts. So that in itself, I think that was the biggest job at that moment. And then too, with Mercury being in Cancer, since it's so watery, and you know, Mercury really thrives being more airy. I was kind of like, are there going to be any tough emotional aspects? But I don't think I had that many emotional conversations with people. I don't think I have. I have to really even watch that, because my Mercury is in Libra. So I'm definitely not a feely person. I'm so like diplomatic. Like, well, what do you think about this? Okay, let's look at the pros and cons. This is how I thought about it. These are my pros and cons. How can we come to an agreement and move forward? I'm definitely, I can say, a very unconfrontational person. I don't like confrontation. Like, I can argue with people about certain things, but actually having some sort of like anger and animosity behind it, that's not me at all. I'm more so factual. Like, okay, these are the facts. This your opinion. We're separate.
Right. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because like, please don't make me argue, because once I do it, I'm gonna hurt your feelings, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. But Sydney, my Mercury and my Venus is in Libra.
Ooh.
We're both Mercury Libras.
Now, see, I was gonna say the good thing I feel about that though too, since since your Mercury and Venus are in the same sign in a way, you kind of have more of a. I'm trying to think. Like you're probably very diplomatic with friends and with like romantic interests. I have a square aspect, so it's a little bit harder for me to have it like, okay, I'm gonna be like this, I'm gonna be like this. I feel like I'm a little bit more diplomatic and understanding and easygoing with my friends, where my romantic interests, I'm a little more like hard ass, aggressive, everything else.
It's probably that opposing Aries Libra energy, because my South Node is in Libra, so it comes naturally for me, to be more diplomatic. And you know what I noticed whenever you was talking about your mom, you know how they say Aries and Scorpio is ruled by Mars? So we both have Mars ruled mothers.
Interesting. Oh, wow. That's a good point.
We have so many similarities with our chart. What's your Mars in? My Mars is in Virgo.
My Mars is in Cancer.
Okay, yeah, you did say that. And your North Node, we're opposites with the North Node. Your Venus and Mars in Cancer, Mercury's in Libra.
I was gonna say now one thing. Another similarity that we also have is you have like a lot of cardinal placements.
Yes.
I'm the same.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, because Libra and Cancer. Cardinal. Which signs do you not have in your chart at all?
I don't have any fixed. So Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, or Taurus. I don't have any fixed energy. And I don't have a lot of fire. No, I really don't. And it's ironic because I am not trying to be funny and not trying to down talk myself, but being a very passionate person, like some people are like, I'm so passionate. Oh, yes. I'm not. No, I'm just like very.
Virgos don't give a fuck though. We really don't. We don't.
I do, but I trying to like get that across in a fiery sort of way. I'm never gonna be like that because even in my family and friends will always be like, Sydney, I can never tell if you're excited about something. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, is that a good or bad thing? I mean, if I said I am, I am. I don't. Do I need to jump up and down and scream? Right. Like, it's just not me at all. And even in a lot of ways, ironically, that Virgo element comes into play because I am always trying to make logic of my emotions instead of just feeling them and getting it over with. I'm always like, well, why am I feeling like this? Well, should I feel like this? Right. Well, I should just get over this. I have other stuff to do. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Hey. You have to actually think about this and sit in this because on my own show, I just did a recording recently with a relationship coach. And oh my gosh, I'm glad I cut some of it out because I was telling this man my business. But he was like, you can be a little stubborn and you seem a little dismissive. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know me. You know
get
me
my edges back, damn it. I need them back, sir.
He was like, yeah. He's like, you seem like you're very busy, like you're on the go. He was like, just take some time to just get your thoughts out, write them down, look at it. He's like, you seem like a person who's always trying to make sense of your emotions when really it doesn't work like that. You just have to get them out and then you'll move past it. But you still have to acknowledge them. And I was like, that's a thought.
Yeah, I'll consider it. I'll allow it. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. So how you saying how you don't have any fixed signs in your chart? I don't have any Aquarius. I have my Lilith, my Black Moon Lilith. I don't know if you've heard that before, but my Lilith is in Leo. So like my same. Are you kidding? My Lilith is in Leo. I don't have any Aquarius. I don't have any Gemini, no Taurus. My Pluto is in Scorpio, but that's a generational thing. I don't really count that, but yeah.
I think my Pluto Sagittarius is in Sagittarius.
Okay. Are you? Okay. It's a Sagittarius because I think it moves in like 10-year or whatever. It's like a long, like large gaps or whatever. That is crazy. Yes, I don't have any of those. No Gemini, no Taurus, no Aquarius. Those three. They got everything.
Yeah, and see, I personally, now you know what's okay. Ironically enough, I can say while I don't have any fixed energy, looking back at my chart more, my Venus and Mars are very close to being in Leo. Like I'm literally on the last degree of Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking up more stuff about Mars and Leo and Venus and Leo. And I do feel like I have a little bit of that, like
Fire.
just a tad bit, just a little bit. And I'm like,
A sprinkle or razzle
ugh.
dazzle.
Basically, because I was talking with my friend about it recently, and what did I tell her? Because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of like ick because I don't want to be like a Leo, but I might have some of that energy because I love gifts. I
Mm-hmm.
love giving gifts. I
Mm-hmm.
love admiration in a
Yeah.
way, like admiring the person that I'm with and them admiring me. I can be a little bit dramatic.
Okay. That's self-awareness.
But other than that, I was just like, a few of these things about Venus and Mars and Leo, I
Mhm.
get. I get it.
Yeah. Wow, that is very interesting. That how like your Mars and Venus is in the same sign, but that you're so close to Leo, and that's like what you feel like you know what I'm saying, should be more into or
And
whatever.
you know, they always say too, that as you get older, like your chart progresses
Okay.
throughout different signs. So they kind of like move into the other sign. So while you still have that, I guess, like natal influence, you're also picking up the influence of the neighboring sign in those planets. So for instance, I have this big book. It's like the book of birthdays. It was like, oh, for September 6th Virgos, after you reach the age of, I think it's like 20 or 21, your sun moves into the progressed Libra. So then you'll pick up some of these Libra traits. Then at a certain age, it moves into Scorpio. So then you'll pick up some more Scorpio traits. So I think that in itself is really interesting too, because
Mm-hmm.
that's why to me, you noticed when you talk about astrology with people who aren't as knowledgeable as
Uh-huh.
you, they really have like a stagnant sense of, oh, astrology is one way.
And
Everything is
that's
just
it.
static. It's just it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of time I'm always explaining to people like, no, it's always changing. It's always moving. It's so many different elements. So
Right.
in essence, you can't be closed off to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will be like, see, I'm a Gemini, but I don't agree with none of that stuff because I don't act
Mm-hmm.
like that at all. And then you go look at their chart and it's like, well, you probably wouldn't act like that because you got all of these Capricorn placements or you got
Exactly.
all of these Taurus and Aries placement. And they like,
Yeah, but I've always been like this. Like, oh, you know, I tell people like I ain't trying to argue with you. I know I believe in astrology. I don't give a damn if you don't or not. I'm just saying, don't call me crying whenever Mercury retrograde happens. Like CheChe, what planet is blah blah blah. You know, so like figure it out. You know, I just think it's interesting to know. And like for me, like one of the reasons I really got into astrology is because you know, with me being on watery, I'm a Cancer moon, Pisces rising. You know, I'm real sensitive, you know, Libra, you know, my Mercury's in Libra, my Venus in Libra. So I'm real, you know, like I'm real sensitive, you know? And so growing up, I would always hear Sherelle, don't take things so seriously. Oh, and like going back to the Virgo children, how you were saying, like, you know, the Virgo children, you know, inquisitive, chatty, whatever. One of the defining moments in my life was my teacher when I was younger. Shout out to Mr. Hillian. Shout out to Chiraha. But he told me, I don't know what I was saying, but he bent down because he was this tall, slender man. He bent down. He said, shut your little teeny mouth. And I remember telling my mom when I went home, and that thing hurt my feelings. And she laughed. And it was like a running joke, like all throughout me growing up into like even now till young adult or till adulthood now. But so it's funny that like you know, even though he told me that, and that was like a defining moment for me, I grew up wanting to be this motivational speaker, and I launched this podcast, and I was a cheerleader where I'm like yelling at people, and I just want to continue stepping into that coaching energy, you know. So it's interesting that we have like those defining moments as a child, and kind of run straight into that opposing energy of like, oh, you shouldn't be so inquisitive. You shouldn't be so, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
For sure. And when I was growing up, like my mom has liked stuff about astrology. She had astrology books when I was younger, but they're pretty singular to just like sun signs, but she had been interested in it. My family, they know a little bit about like astrology too, so they would crack jokes here and there, because I can say on my dad's side of the family, like my grandmother, my great grandmother, two of my uncles and a cousin were all Virgos.
Oh.
So, and we were all like back to back. Like I was the first in September, then somebody else was after me, and then somebody else. Like we were all throughout the month of September. So they would always like joke about me being a Virgo. Because my grandma would be like, no, she a Virgo. She just be talking. When she get older, she'll realize when to talk, when to be quiet. Because I too was the same way. But they've always like fed my energy and my like inquisitiveness about astrology, because they would still buy me books and let me look up stuff. I've only had one aunt she's very church going, and I love her to death. But one time I went to go visit her, and I was talking to my cousin about astrology, and I wanted to get some bracelet that had Virgo on it or something. And I was like, oh, this bracelet is so cute. Like it has a little Virgo symbol. My aunt was like, girl, that stuff is not godly. That is not godly
that conversation
whatsoever. You into all of that stuff. See, when I was your age, I was interested in all of that stuff, but that stuff leads to worshiping the devil and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, okay.
Speaking of that conversation, have you ever had that conversation? Have you ever had to overcome that energy with someone?
I was gonna say, outside of my aunt saying that to me and me being a teenager, I was just like, okay, sure. But when I went home, I still had my books and would still look up information about it.
Yeah.
And my other family members weren't like that. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have all of these family members that are like, stop learning that. That's not good. You don't need to know stuff like that.
Right.
Not really. My family's always been like, look, you do you.
Nice.
Go ahead, do whatever. But ironically enough, even though my aunt had that to say about astrology, I have other family members who burn candles and do different things. So you know how different colors stand for different things. They've been into things like that where it's not any sort of like satanical element. So I was always very much like, I wonder where my aunt learned that at. But again, the older she got very much into church. I was just like, that's her on her own.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and that's the thing, like with spirituality for me, because I would identify more spiritual than religious. I just feel like, do what works for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what works for me. I know my relationship with God. I know my relationship with myself, and it's ever changing, ever evolving, so, just let people do them.
And two, and a lot of times what I've noticed with more so religion and spirituality, with religion in a way, a lot of people don't realize the element of how you're like giving things up and kind of depriving yourself in a way, where spirituality, you're more so feeding yourself. You're looking to, not so much, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but you're looking to the elements around you. Because even with you like taking a deep breath and using sound therapy, that stuff is like literally scientifically proven to actually help compared to some other religious elements. So I'm always a little bit weary of that, but I don't judge people for going about doing their own thing. I'm just like, that's you.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, the best people that are religious, like people to me who are religious, but keep to themselves and don't push their beliefs off to others, those are always the better people. When people get to push their beliefs off and want you to think a certain way, it's like, now see, what we not finna do is this.
Exactly. Because I don't care to push my views onto you, and I won't allow you to do that to me. And that's what I'm saying. Like with some religions, that's the whole intention on like flipping people. And it's like, why is the intention so, you know what I'm saying, so forceful?
Yes,
Why can't you
yes,
just
it's
let it
very
be? Why can't I
forceful.
just naturally come to this belief system?
Yeah, because
Why
that's
do I
how
gotta
it
be
should be.
convinced?
I should naturally gravitate to it because it's feeding
My
whatever
spirit.
need that I have. Yes. And if it's not, then I'm just gonna disconnect from it. Because even I know for me, recently I've gotten more into like sound therapy and waves and different things like that. But that stuff definitely helps me because I've even recommended it to friends. Like,
Yeah.
you stressed out, girl. Okay, go to YouTube, go to Meditative Mind.
Yes. Oh, I
Pull
love
up,
that channel.
please pull up some of these little like not so much songs, but these different wavelengths and these different frequencies, and they will help you. Because I know me, once or twice, I forgot how I got into Meditative Mind. I think it was somebody else who was spiritual, that like a spiritualist, that recommended it. But
Yeah.
when I say that thing helps so much, I
Mm-hmm.
put one of those things on when I was getting ready to go to sleep, and when I tell you, I had the most peaceful sleep of my life.
Mm-hmm. My friend Mercedes, shout out Mercedes, she's a Virgo sun as well. Aries Aries rising. No, Aries moon, Cancer rising. But she put me on to the thunder sounds, lightning and thunder. Well, not
It
lightning,
helps so
but thunder.
much.
Yeah, it sounds
Just
nice.
like, oh, I am so relaxed. My body
Mhm.
feels calm. But again, these things are scientifically proven to
Exactly.
help relax you and take your mind off stress because your body responds to frequencies because frequencies are everywhere in the world. That's why it
Right.
works.
Right. And like also, I just don't understand the whole like focus on the punishment, the focus on the end, the focus on, you know what I'm saying? Why can't it just be a focus on life and living and experiencing and being more and being greater? Why does it have to be,
They
don't do
want
this so
to,
you don't end up
because
here?
it's that control element of it.
Come
It's
on.
like we have to control you, therefore you can, like, I guess, reach this finish line when in essence,
The goalpost is always going to be moving though. It's this lifelong trying to be perfect, trying to be, not living life in this way, not sharing experiences in this way, and then you end up what?
deprived with
Deprived.
nothing because you done gave your all to something that's
Oh,
not giving anything back to you.
and they living their life. They getting their money. Okay.
They done moved on, deal whatever. And again, I feel like if you are going to be religious or practice your religion, in essence, just let it feed you.
Yeah.
Be consumed with it being about you. It shouldn't be this big external thing like, oh, the world around me needs to be this way and you need to be
Exactly.
that way. No, you have to let go of that element of control. And again, as a Virgo, I am working on it. I know about control.
We're
I know so
self-aware,
much about it.
right? We're self-aware. We're working through it. Okay.
I'm practicing as best I can.
Yeah, and cheers to that. Well, Miss Sydney, I'm sure you have things to do on this Saturday morning, so I could talk your ear off. I could talk to you all day. You're just so easy to talk to. You so interesting. And I love that we have so many similarities together. So I definitely intend to have you back in the future if you with it. But before we get out of here, do you have any lasting thoughts, anything else you want to plug? Anything? The floor is yours.
Trying to think, what do I want to
What do you have coming
plug?
up? Do you have what you looking forward to today?
Oh, so today, okay. So I'm trying to do good, you guys.
Mhm.
Plan ahead, like we said, Mercury going in retrograde. So
Mhm.
trying to cross my T's and dot my I's. But for the most part, I am trying to work on a website for
Come on.
Annoyed, Not Offended, where I will have like all of my episodes listed, as well as trying to produce more video content because the folks love videos.
Yeah.
People like the audio aspect because they're like, okay, I already know it's podcasting, but they want to see your reactions. They want to see your face. What do you look
Mhm.
like?
Yeah.
So trying to incorporate that element. Also need to go ahead, make that move to iHeart Radio so I can get accepted and approved and be on that platform as well as
Okay.
Stitcher.
Yeah.
So just using this time to build. I know too,
Yeah.
Mars is in Taurus.
I didn't check, but it is. What's your
I
thoughts on
think it
that?
is.
What that
Baby,
energy like?
Taurus is grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Grounded.
Practical
So
with the plan
practical with a plan,
and a
strategic,
budget.
and a budget. They may move at a slower pace, but best believe it's gonna get done.
It's
So
gonna
that's
get
just what I'm trying to tell myself. You know, Sydney,
yeah.
it does not have to be rapido, like rapid. You can take your time with this, because more than likely, the faster you're moving, the more things you're going to forget.
Yeah. So, I tell my clients all the time when I'm training them, I said, the slower you go, the more control you have. Don't rush through the squats. Enjoy the squats.
Yes.
Enjoy the process. Don't rush
enjoy the process, because you learn so much more and you're looking back at stuff. So that's been my biggest thing with Mars being in Taurus. And again, since I don't have as much fixed energy, I'm trying to learn how to use Mars and Taurus to like translate it. And even then, this aspect can be, Taurus, they always get flack for being lazy. Like they want to eat, they want to be merry, they want to relax. So even then, using this time to not only pace myself, but kind of look at my own energy levels. Like, you know what?
Come on, Mercury retrograde.
I am moving very slow on this. How about I take the time to remove myself from the project altogether, re-energize, then come back to it.
Yeah.
Instead of literally depleting myself.
Right. Right. Because, I mean, especially because we're one woman shows, right? So we're handling everything. So you can't give what you don't have. So we have to remember to take a step back and pour back into us. And again, that's that Mercury retrograde energy as well, But with the Mars and Taurus, like just moving methodically with intention, with purpose, with a plan, with a budget, and staying grounded.
Yes. And being determined. Like, you know what? I am moving slow, but I'm going to get this done. I am going to get it done. No negative self-talk.
Yeah.
If that's one thing I can say, people, go into this year removing negative self-talk.
Come on.
It's so bad. Don't talk bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like, dang, I ain't cleaned up nothing. I ain't texted this person back. Like, don't think bad about any of those things. Just find the positive in it. I don't mean be positive to the point where it's bad, like the house is burning around you and you're just like, oh, this is fine. Don't do that. But still, like, you know what? I did get this done today. I'm that girl. I look good. I got my have positive self-talk. Whatever it is in your day, please find something good to think about.
Yes, exactly. And like we have to do it for ourselves. Like we have to hear our voice telling us the compliments that we want other people to tell us.
Yes. Or if you don't, you always gonna be searching for those compliments for somebody to give to you. And people got their own shit going on. They can't hype you up 24/7. They cannot. Okay. And even then, don't we all hate people who come around us and have that element of self-pity all the time? I can't be with nobody who just like
that victim mentality. Everybody out to get them.
Everybody out to get them, or they just everything is wrong all the time. Like, oh my God, I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid. Because I might be like, you are.
Shout out to the emotionally toxic people out there. You know what you're doing and don't want to fix it. Shout out to you.
Yes, get it together. See, get it together, y'all.
What you doing?
You know exactly what you're doing. And I'm not saying you have to go out and buy 1,000 self-help books. Just, again, use the time to talk good about yourself. Feed yourself. Whatever it is that you need and you're looking to give back, put that out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get in my spiritual bag, but whatever you put out into the universe is going to be given back to you 10 times that. So if you put negative thoughts out there, coming back at you.
Like that's literally what be the change you want to see in the world. That's literally what that is, y'all. Okay, if you want to hear it, if you want to experience it, then be that to other people. If you want good friendship, then be good friends to other people. If you want to receive love, be lovely to yourself. Pour that love into you. Do the things you want to do on a date by yourself. Like don't wait until you have somebody to impress to get dressed up. Don't wait until you think you about to get some dick to get your pussy waxed. Do it because you want to be smooth.
Yes. Yes. OMG. Even now, I'm literally getting ready today. I'm ordering myself like 3 gifts for Valentine's Day. Just because I can. And just because I'm like, damn it, I deserve it. It's Valentine's Day. They said day of love, but self-love, come with it.
Ladies, buy you some fresh panties just cause. Bound for you.
Matching bra and panty sets. Oh, well, I tell you, that warms my little heart. I don't know if it's the Libra Mercury or what, but I'm like,
the aesthetic.
I don't care if nobody's seeing this, but just to know they match.
It's like you got your life together. I could afford both of them. I ain't have to choose the bra or the panties. I have both. And girl, don't let me get no garters to go with it. Garter stockings. Come on, shout out to Savage Fenty trying to manifest ambassadorship with them.
And one last thing before I go. Yeah. One person who I love, and it's so crazy, she exudes Aries energy, Rihanna. And she's ruled by Aries.
And I want to say she is a Pisces, right?
She's a Pisces sun, but she has like an Aries rising. Okay. An Aries Venus. And she has like an Aries Mars.
She's my best friend in my head. She don't know it, but we're best.
But she exudes that I don't give a damn. I don't care. I look good. I'm going to do this. I do what I want when I want. So this one person I love, and she exudes Aries. I'm like, oh, yes.
Right. Be more like Rihanna, you guys.
Yes.
Pisces queen.
Yes.
Who is that your best friend in your head too?
It's a toss up between Rihanna and Beyonce. I love me some Queen Bee. Always and forever. Just I love Queen me some Virgo. Beyonce. She is. Oh, she is. And I love that about her. And again, I feel like the funny thing about both of them is they're just unapologetically themselves.
Yes. They gonna do what they want to do. And you know what? People love confidence and passion. I was literally saying this the other day. People love confidence and passion. Whether I agree with you or not, damn it, you convicted. Well, shoot, I trust you then. People
you should.
Like unsure about what they want to do. Are you got a plan or not? All right, cool. I'll roll with it.
If anything, and ironically enough, it's so funny you said confidence and passion because I was in, it was some type of like Clubhouse chat, but somebody was saying, hey, you know, when you actually have confidence, like actual confidence, people can tell. It doesn't have to be loud and flamboyant or arrogant. It can be quiet confidence, but people know when you have confidence because if you're confident in yourself, you know when to get up and leave situations because you like, I'm not dealing with this.
Come on.
I'm confident I can attract something else that is way better.
Exactly. I'm confident it will get better. I'm confident that this is disrespect. I understand. I recognize it as such, and I recognize that I don't deserve it, and I'm not going to tolerate it. For example, I'm done and exit. And I feel like, shout out to Lori Harvey, Queen Capricorn, breaking hearts everywhere. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, King Aquarius. But they were saying, like, I saw a few memes. You probably saw some memes too, in regards to like how people was analyzing how she's moving and whatnot. And it's like at first, even though she may have had like this negative, you know, perspective or whatever, perception of her or whatever, but it's like she's doing what she wants to do, and she leaves the relationship when it's done. She doesn't stick around trying to prove herself, trying to prove a point, crying over somebody. It's like, look, I'm the prize, so get with it or nah, you know. And don't even decide. I'm gonna leave for you.
And surprisingly enough, I love how people have kind of created this narrative for her because she doesn't say anything.
She doesn't say anything.
She doesn't say anything.
I was like searching around, like I need to hear this lady talk, and I finally found this podcast episode, Pretty Little Thing, I think. And
yes, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I've ever seen her talk on. And even then, she was like, you know, people have all this stuff to say about me, but they don't know me.
They don't, and that's quiet confidence right there.
She don't give a damn. She is like, she's gorgeous. She's wealthy.
Yeah.
And she's young too.
Serving natural beauty.
Shoot, she learned from the best her mama.
Come on, Harvey. Marjorie Harvey.
Steve Harvey out here working 10 jobs, taking care of his stepkids.
Okay.
And his kids
shout out to the bro, Steve Harvey.
Taking care of everybody. So if anything, she knows, okay, I can do what I want to do. And again, I don't have to tell y'all anything because who are y'all?
Exactly. And I feel like in this with this, well, I don't say this generation, but in this age, in this society with technology, a lot of people just have a point to prove. They feel like they got to explain themselves and no, this
You
isn't the
don't.
situation. Look how this is my side of the story, and like just feel the need to explain. And quiet confidence, you guys. Let's try to adapt more to that or bring that energy in with 2021. Just know, like I was talking to someone today and they were upset because they felt like they was talking shit about one of their coworkers, but somebody had asked them, "Oh, who are you talking about?" Like this person was just venting, and they're like, "Oh, who are you talking about?" And they said this person's name. So in hindsight, reflection, they were like, "Oh, I feel bad. I was talking about this person." But I'm like, if you know you weren't talking about them, then don't be upset. Like you have to know your intention. You have to know why you're saying, what you're doing, what you're doing. So then when other people come at you with some, "Oh, you think you bad, don't you? Oh, so-and-so was talking shit about you." No, I wasn't. I was saying facts. You need to figure out if you offended or not. I'm not going to be
Basically.
explaining myself to you, apologize for shit. You need to figure out why you upset, why you got your feelings hurt.
Always. And if anything, like you said, once you had that intention set and you know yourself, people can't come at you sideways because you've already deflected. And if anything, again, like you said, going back to Lori Harvey, how they have created this narrative for her and said all of this stuff for her, and she has yet to say anything.
Uh-huh.
She's like, y'all are putting off y'all own insecurities, personal dilemmas, and
Say
everything
that.
else off on me. Because a lot of times when people like come at you a certain way about anything, it's just a reflection of themselves. If somebody
Literally.
is jealous of you or has any animosity or you just upset them, it's usually to do with their own insecurities or their own like lack of self-worth.
Hey, it's always too much for someone that's not enough, ain't it?
And again, I even have to learn how to do that with myself. Like if somebody makes me upset and
Yeah.
does something I don't like, I try to go back and be like, well, how did I contribute to this? And
Uh-huh.
is this really them doing something, or is this a deflection of one of my own issues?
Right. Right. Now I feel you. Like we don't stop feeling the need to apologize. Like I told somebody this on Friday. Stop saying I'm sorry so much. Stop apologizing. Stop explaining yourself. Quiet confidence, you guys. Excuse me. If you're acting with intention, if you're acting with intention, you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So if someone else wants to be misunderstood, if someone else wants to, blow it out of proportion, let them figure it out. You know what the truth is. You know why you're doing what you're doing. Don't let anybody project their fears and insecurities onto you, unless that's the drama you want in your life. And some people do. And if that's your truth, that's your truth. But stop allowing yourself to get all worked up with stuff that doesn't matter. Quiet confidence, do you. And again, any last words, Sydney, before we let you go?
I was going to say thank you so much for having me. I
Yes.
enjoyed us talking about our placements,
Yes.
characteristics we have noticed, even like
Yes.
the planetary movements. I love this. I love meeting people that also love astrology. So this is us being in our bag for me. You guys
Yes.
can check out my podcast, Annoyed Not Offended, for weekly episodes. I try to drop on Wednesdays or Thursdays. You can follow me on Instagram at Annoyed Not Offended or Twitter at Annoyed Not Offended. I am on all social media platforms at _Supa Syd. So SUPASYD, all lowercase. But again, it was great talking to you. Thanks so much for having me
Yes.
today.
Of course. Thank you so much, Sydney. And you guys already know, add us on Instagram, like Sydney said. You can follow me, My Virgo Friend podcast at Instagram, also at CheCheBabe, CheCheBabe. I am having my next meditation meetup next Saturday for the full moon in Leo. So be on the lookout for that, Sydney, that Leo
Is it going to
energy.
be virtual? Are you going to do it
I just
virtually?
Zoomed them. Yeah, I started Zooming them.
I'm a join.
Yeah, it's just a little vibe, it's a little vibe. So yes, you guys, if you are local to the Orlando area or want to zoom in, that will be next Saturday at 7. So be on the lookout on my Instagram. Also the website, www.myvirgofriend.com. I should have it listed on there for tickets. And yeah, you guys, Mercury retrograde pre-shadow is here. Please share this episode with your friends, your family. Thank you to everyone for your love and support. And on that note, I want to thank you again, Sydney, for your time, your energy, your love, your wisdom. And until next time, bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.